I began to wonder as I was playing with my grandchildren, as I was tucking them into bed. I always say to them, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always." And I thought about the difference between loving and liking. And do I really like them? Well, of course, I do really like them, but do they know that I really like them? Do my children know that I like them? There's a profound difference between love and like. As parents, as mothers, our hearts are pulled towards our children. Yes, we love them. We love them unconditionally. But do we really like them? Because all of us have been in situations where we have family members or friends that, yes, we love them, but do we really like them? Do we really want to hang around them? And I thought about that with the children, and I thought, I want to start telling my children and my grandchildren how much I like them. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to talk about the difference between loving your children, which is just sort of a fundamental, versus liking your children and really starting to observe various things about them, noticing who they are so that you can communicate to them how much you really like them. So think about this. When someone says they love you, it feels wonderful. But when someone says they genuinely like you, and I had a friend of mine tell me that the other day, and I was so amazed because it was a new friend, and I was so sort of almost shocked, surprised by joy, definitely, because that hits you differently when somebody says that they like you. Children feel this distinction too, and even if they can't articulate it, and they know that love is expected from parents, I mean, they don't even think about it. But like feels earned and chosen and special. Maybe the earned is not the right word, but chosen and special. And here's what happens when children know you like them, not just love them. They develop genuine confidence in who they are, and they stop performing for approval because they already have it. And my friend Augusta, who passed last Friday, she was this type of person, and her sister even communicated that of all of the children in the family of five siblings, Augusta was the one that just had such a booming confidence, even as a child. And I could guarantee you that she understood, recognized, accepted that her mother, maybe mother and father, really liked her. Well, she was a marvelous person with an adorable personality. So yes, I'm sure they did really like her. But showing your children that you genuinely enjoy their company. And I thought it was really interesting the other day when the kids were over and my son and his wife were here, and the 7-year-old said to her mother, "Mama, will you snuggle with me?" And I heard the mother say, "Well, yes," but there was some hesitation. The 7-year-old picked up on it right away and said, "Mama, I see you snuggling with Daddy, and I see you snuggling with the baby, but I want you to snuggle with me." And I think in her little mind, that snuggling, which of course is going to fill up her emotional bucket, was also a way of her mother saying to her, "I like you. I want to spend time with you. I want to know more about you." And that's one of the things that we can do, is that we can start to ask questions of our children to find out more of who they are, what they like. So our bedtime routine, which I love doing with these children, always ends in asking questions. And the 7-year-old, the oldest, she dictates that, and she'll tell me, "You're going to ask 2 questions, and I'm going to ask 2 questions." And then she says the same about her brother. So when I go in, I ask questions that go, well, it's the whole routine. That's why I say when I go in, I ask questions specifically to who she is and what do you like? Well, oftentimes it ends up being, what's your favorite color? Because that's one of her favorite things to talk about. And as a 7-year-old, her favorite color does change from maybe not week to week, but month to month. I love being able to say to the grandchildren, not just, "Oh, good job," but saying, "Oh, really liked how you put those flowers together. I really like how you chose those colors for your card. I really like how you decided that it was a good thing to send a card to Augusta. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a lovely way to spend time with our children as opposed to always correcting them or just saying I love you without really thinking much about it? I like saying things like, I noticed how you encouraged your brother. I noticed how you loved your little baby sister, which I have to tell you that when I said that last week, she said, oh, I don't really love her. I just do it so I don't get in trouble with mama. And I thought that was so profound, because how often are we loving someone or doing something just because we don't want to get in trouble? We know that that is the good and the right thing to do. But I loved her honesty, and I said that to her. I said, I really like that you know that you recognize that, and that you weren't afraid to tell me that. And we had a wonderful discussion that came from that. And I think after that discussion, she felt so much safer with me, that she knew that I really like her and that she can be herself. So listen to your children like you would listen to an adult friend. I think it's so easy for us to, in a sense, just sort of push the children down. They're shorter, it's easier, they're not right on our eye level. And that's another thing, is to get on their eye level so you can see them, because what we see in another person's eyes is profound. Laugh at their jokes. They may be ridiculous. My dad was so good at laughing at every joke I said. And I know those knock-knock jokes I told him over and over again, but he didn't care. He just loved me telling him these silly, crazy, ridiculous jokes and then laughing and laughing. As I got older, my mother began to say to me, I really like that about you. I like that you listen. And she one time said to me, I remember I was 16 years old. We were sitting in the parking lot of the what am I trying to say? It was like the drive-through. It was like a drive-in restaurant, which back in the 60s, there were hardly any of those. I guess this may have been 1970. But we were sitting there, and she said to me, you listen better to me than any friend that I have. Well, here I am at 71, and that was so profound to me that it brings me to tears to think about it, because I knew with that comment that my mother really liked me, and that just got better and better as I got older. I knew that she liked me. She didn't just love me, but she really liked me. We can tell our children, hey, I do not like what you just did. And I hear my daughter-in-law do that so brilliantly. And it stops the child, but she says, I love you, I like you, but I don't like what you just did. That behavior is unacceptable. Or that attitude, I'm not going to tolerate that. Or when I tell you that you need to set the table, you need to set the table. So we're not saying that there are no boundaries. We're not saying that everything is always roses and rainbows, but we want to make sure that we are deliberately communicating to our children, I like you. And you know what? While we're doing that, let's communicate that to our spouses as well. I don't have a spouse at this point. My husband died 10 years ago. And I miss him every single day. I miss him. And one of the things about him that was so precious to me was that he was always communicating to me how he liked me. I'm from the South. He was from the Boston area, and he loved my accent. And there were certain words he wanted me to say to him. Oh, say this or say that, because he loved my accent. So when we're thinking about that, remember, it's choosing to focus on the things about your child that is uniquely them. Think about the words even that they choose. Think about the activities. When my granddaughter, my 7-year-old, sits down to read a cookbook because she's planning her wedding menu, I think that is fabulous. And I tell her, well, it's so interesting because now, last week, the 2-year-old sat down, opened up a magazine that had recipes in it, and said, read. And so I started to read and tell her about different things. And I thought, she's watching her older sister. But isn't it wonderful? Children need to know that they're liked. Your husband needs to know that he is liked. There may be things about him that irritate you, but there must be things about him that you like. If not, you better start finding them and communicating to them. So, to sum it up, does your child know that you like them, not just love them? And really discover how this can transform your relationship with your child. Show them every single day, as many times a day as you can, that you like them and you like this about them and you like this. So if you liked this, hit the subscribe button and comment. Like it and comment, because I want to hear how this touched your heart, but I also want to know what other topics would be good to hear, for you to hear, for me to talk about. Until then, have a blessed day. With love, Debbie.